Well, good evening, Denver Broncos fans. I was just thinking, I've been out sick since Christmas. Since Christmas, man. It's been a long time, man. I've missed you guys so much, man. I'm so sorry that we missed our show. Again, this is the Denver Bronco Roundup. We are brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We are sponsored by the amazing Willow Seasonings and Blends. My name is Keith Brugman. I have two fantastic hosts with us, co-hosts tonight on this Friday show. It's usually just me and one other, but I'm going to start off with a guy who's not usually with us, Albert, man, the Mile High Dutchie. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Uh-oh.
Yep, I fixed it.
All right.
Yeah, it's good to be here again, and it's always a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to this show. It's going to be a heated one, I guess, with all the news that is coming out, and we will see where Denver Broncos will stand after the season. And that's what
Wow, you guys got news? Like I said, I've been out sick. I'll have to get caught up. There must be something going on. We'll get caught up. No worries, no worries. Got lots of people jumping in. Ernie May is coming in saying, go Broncos country only. Pearl's already been in here saying hello, threw her up on the screen for those watching at home. Miss Michelle Knopper saying, evening, gents. Can you believe the craziness? Yeah, I was only playing, guys. I'm up to speed on the news. We'll get to more comments, but I want to say hello to usually my regular Friday co-host, Mr. Trevor Salzman. How's it going, Trevor?
All doing pretty good, Keith. Of course, we were done with our show this week, on Tuesday. All this news broke all in one day, and, I guess this is our first time reacting to it over and over a week. So, of course, all that's got to break when we're off air. But, no, just, can't wait to break all this news down, and glad that Keith's feeling better. And glad to be back, guys. Thanks for hanging in with us.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Glad to be back and glad to be with you guys. Like I said, you guys, well, we're the reason we do the show. We appreciate you guys so much. It's the reason we've been growing. If you guys didn't hear before, I usually hit this at the end. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You can check us out on Spotify. And then, of course, YouTube, on X. And if you're on Facebook right now, which a lot of you guys are, we appreciate that as well. Michael Ronquillo saying, showing some love from Facebook. Appreciate it very much. Facebook user, I can try to look up. Oh, it's Clayton. It's Clayton saying, hey, Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year to you as well, Clayton. Good to see you, bud. Always a great supporter of the show. Great supporter and friend, Mr. Jeremy Dressler. Sup, fellas? Go Broncos. Appreciate it, man. Always coming in here. He's got that same introduction every single time. I always know it's him, even if his face doesn't pop up on the screen, but love to see you, bud. So, and then, yep, got to eat the dead money and move on. That's a great segue, guys. Typically, we come in here Friday night. We're all talking, hey, let's get ready for the game. Let's get ready for Sunday, guys. Well, not only are we kind of rounding out the season, I know that there's still some playoff potential and the like, but we're rounding out the season, and there's a lot of other news that we obviously need to get to. So I don't need to break it down too much. I know there's been some new stuff that's been coming out. Today was a big day as there was a little bit of a interview in the locker room. Wish I could play it back for you, but I'll have to paraphrase it. Basically, Russell Wilson comes out and says, yeah, they came to me. They came to me in October. They said, yeah, we either want you to restructure your deal or we want you to take a seat on the bench. And he's been playing underneath that premise ever since. I got word of this early this morning that the NFL Players Association did get involved because you can't just be threatening a guy with his job if he doesn't renegotiate his contract. Nothing has been filed. I think everyone was just warned, and what came out of it, what it sounds like has come out of it, is not that they wanted him to waive his injury clause, but they wanted to defer that date. Some people think it could be as far as a year. Other people said, hey, maybe they just need a couple of weeks, another month. Keep in mind where free agency's at and when the first day of the league year is there. If you can give yourself some options, you might want to exercise those. That being said, nobody agreed to those terms. Russell Wilson played on until, well, just recently when we found out he's not going to be starting. It's going to be Jarrett Stidham. And boy, as as it's saying right here, bang. The world was on fire in Broncos countries, guys. So that being said, I want to get your guys's. I haven't got this from you. I know that you guys have been over on the fantastic K&K Sports Show, had an opportunity to talk about this a little bit yourselves over there, but first time over here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, right over here on the Denver Bronco Roundup talking about it. Let's start off with you, Albert. You're kind of the guest on the show on a Friday night, so your thoughts. Let's start talking about this. Let's hash this out because I know there's a lot of different ideas around this, and I want to get mine out too. I'm usually the casual guy on the side.
Well, it was definitely not a Christmas gift to any of us, and especially not to Russell Wilson. This is just a pure financial deal. It is not because of the performance of Russell Wilson, but it's pure financial. If they don't want to go on with Russell Wilson after the season, you already know they're going to get hit for a lot of money. But to add an 37 extra $1 million on the ticket, yeah, they don't want to do that, and that's where the injury clause comes in, and I think that's all what it is about, injury clause, and not having to pay him an extra $37 million because he broke a fingernail.
Yeah. You would hate for him not to. Obviously, the big thing is he's got to be able to pass that physical, by the league year, sometime in the offseason. He needs to be able to pass his physical. If he doesn't, then that $37 million is automatically guaranteed. It's a lot of reason, and we can get into this as well. Why is Russ QB2? Why is he out there practicing? So on and so forth. It does seem like it's two sides as well, but yeah, initial reaction from Albert is this is very contractual. This has nothing necessarily to put down anybody in particular, but it's about working out the numbers in some ways. Trevor, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, again, weren't expecting this kind of all in one day. So it's all kind of flood news. We've been getting news ever since. It came out, I believe it was Tuesday when it came out. So it's just a lot of news and a lot to kind of unwrap. And again, we'll have to wrap it piece by piece. But yeah, I mean, first thoughts, it's just, I mean, the Broncos have a right to go to him to ask him to kind of put his option down a little bit, down the line a little bit. I understand that. From Russ' standpoint, he absolutely deserves to say no. I mean, he has that right to say no, and I don't blame him for saying that because, again, like he talked about in his interview, the NFL game is so it's so like just a rough game, and you have to have it. Anytime you get to have that kind of clause in your contract, you're protecting yourself and your health. And again, I understand from a Russell Wilson perspective, I kind of think it kind of puts a little bit moves that needle a little bit forward that Russell Wilson's likely out of Denver because of everything going on, and just it kind of just seems like it's Sean Payton versus Russell Wilson, and it's just like it's just something that. It's a distraction going to this game where it says it's a must-win game. It's a really distraction, I think, in the locker room when you have your quarterback that was your starting quarterback and your head coach kind of seems like they're just relationship's been so rocky from the beginning, anyways. But they're just kind of going back and forth with each other. I just think it could have been avoided by Russ maybe not being around in the building and maybe not being quarterback too. But again, we'll get into that here in a little bit. But yeah, just kind of. Surprising, but not really surprising because I think Sean Payton wants to see Jared Stidham. I understand that perspective. He wants to see a different quarterback in his offense, and their playoff chances right now are just not great enough. So I understand that, but it's just again, just kind of how it went down. I don't agree with it at all.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Understandable. Don't agree with it. It doesn't look pretty. It's been a long time since we've went. I don't know. 18 months, 2 years straight, and we could hold our head high as a Denver Bronco fan for everything that's happened out of the Mile High City, whether it's a coach or a quarterback or just what's going on in ownership or you name it. There's always been a Chad Kelly story. So that being said, it's boy, it doesn't look pretty. It's not what you want to see. It doesn't make you feel any better as a fan. So I get where you guys are coming from. I'm going to get my 2 cents in on this, what I initially thought, but I got to get into the comments because we got a lot of good fans in here and and helping us out in the posse, in the chat room. I appreciate it, guys. So Kenny's chiming in saying, great job on Wednesday night, fellows. Always welcome additions on our shows. Much love. And yeah, I would agree, guys. Fantastic job over there on the K&K Sports Show. Fantastic. So our good friend Kurt, the other half of the K&K Sports Show, saying, what's up, boys? Like I said, Payton has to have a better QB next year than Russ. If not, he's failed. On a better note, Albert, the Broncos Santa hat is in. So there you go, man. You're getting status updates on orders, I believe, and a little bit of Denver Broncos prediction. Now, appreciate it, Kurt. I'm gonna hit that here in a little bit as well. We'll get into exactly where the Broncos need to go from here if that's what happens. Michael Ronquillo's coming in and saying, he's disappointed, and I understand, man. Here's a guy that has been in the league for a long time. He's been a starter in the league. Heck, he became a starter when no one thought he was going to be a starter. It was supposed to be Matt Flynn that was going to be showing the way up in Seattle. And then Russell Wilson came in as a third-round pick and beat him out and, had a fantastic career up there. It's been a long time since someone said, Russ, why don't you sit the bench on this one? I think we're going a different direction. It's tough. It's absolutely tough, man. So I agree, man. It's not easy. And through everything that is said and everything that may happen and all the negativity that may come about or maybe thought of or expressed or anything like that, Russell Wilson is one heck of a guy. He's one heck of a guy. He's one heck of a family man. He's an absolutely positive individual that influences people only in one direction. If you get a negative influence from Russell Wilson, it's because probably of an internal flaw of your own. Quite honestly, he's only putting out there good. So it's really, really tough when someone like that is asked to step back. Like I said, want to make sure we get in here, say hello to a few people here, and make sure that we don't skip too far ahead. So Roger's coming in here. Roger says, I think it's dirty to treat Russell Wilson like this. I know Sean Payton did not handpick him, but come on, man. Okay. Well, I said I was going to give my 2 cents. I forgot about that. So my initial thought, guys, and it wasn't too far off from another gentleman. I'll steal a little bit of his as well. And that's, oh boy, now I'm going to blank the name. So I'll just go off on my own. I'm going to agree a lot with what Albert says. It was very, very contractual. The show that I was listening to, they were breaking it down. If anything, I'm going to put a lot of blame on this on a George Payton. George Payton is the one who signed this contract with this funky guarantee that's for $37 million. It's guaranteed if he gets injured. It guarantees on the 5th day. All of that is what's hamstringing everything right now. What the Denver Broncos would like to do is say, you know what, rather than the 5th league year, could we push that 2 weeks, a month, 2 months? Now, don't get me wrong. The reason they want to do that is because if they can push it 2 months, a month, 2 months, then they can go out there and they can go, is Kirk Cousins an option? Can we bring Kirk Cousins? There's only going to be 1 or 2 guys, and Kurt's the guy. Kurt Valente is the guy up there yelling it. If you want somebody that's going to be better than Russell Wilson next year, it's going to be very difficult to make sure that happens within the draft, almost impossible. And so you're talking about having to get someone who's tenured in the league, and a Kirk Cousins or someone like that is about your best option to come in here and say, he can run a Sean Payton offense. He's got the arm. He can make the decisions. He can make the throws. Is that an option? Now, if I've got a month or so to kind of work that out with that guy and it doesn't work out, then maybe I'm saying it's a possibility, not a probability, that, hey, Russell Wilson's back. He's our best option, right? Is it probable? No, probably not at this point because of all the bad blood that Trevor was talking about. But literally, this was a contractual thing, trying to move money, trying to make sure we're not guaranteeing you. Give us a little bit of option. But you know what? Russell Wilson can say no. And Russell Wilson did say no. And so now we're in this messy, ugly situation where it's who's done who dirty and who's not a good quarterback, who is a good quarterback, who's not a good coach, who is a good coach. And it's about the ugliest place we'd want to be here as far as Broncos country. We really thought we were trying to fix this all when we got our coach not that so long ago. So that was my initial thought. I do want to get into some of these comments, and I'm going to have you guys probably sound off on these. So, first question that comes out, Kenny, and then I'll have you guys hit this. Maybe I'll stay in the background. Where do the Broncos go from here at quarterback? A, Stidham. B, a rookie quarterback day one. C, a veteran bridge quarterback. D, Russell Wilson. Note, Payton's system is a very complicated system. So that's a good one. Why don't we go ahead and start with Trevor? I think I started with Albert on the last one. So Trevor, lots of options up there. I guess we could even say E, none of the above if you have something else, but I don't know what that would be. So just to go over for those maybe just listening, the options are for quarterback next year is A, Stidham, B, rookie quarterback from day one, C, an veteran bridge quarterback, or D, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're moving on from Russell Wilson, that's the question. How are you going to get that upgrade? Because again, you're projected to be $18 million over the cap next year, so you're already going to, you're already way over the cap, so you're going to have to restructure some contracts to even get underneath the cap. So that's one thing. And the next thing is you have like 5 draft picks total right now, and coming into the draft, so you have very little flexibility to go in free agency or the draft, or however you want to do it. To me, if you're moving on from Russell Wilson, I think you got to go with rookie quarterback. I think you got to go with the rookie quarterback and pair him with the bridge quarterback. Is that going to be Stidham? I think that's what these next 2 games will tell you, because the Broncos, he has an opt-out in his contract 2024. So the Broncos don't have to keep him on the roster next year. They can go with Jameis Winston makes a lot more sense, where he's been in the Sean Payton system. He's flourished in that system before. That's why I kind of lean probably more or less Jameis Winston, because again, I don't know how Stidham's been so rocky and he's been kind of shaky at times. I don't know you can go a full season with Jarrett Stidham next year. For me, it's got to be a rookie quarterback with Jameis Winston, and let them battle it out next season. I don't think you even name a quarterback going into next year. I think you get a rookie. Is that first round? That's the thing. Is it first round, second round? How do you get that quarterback? Again, Broncos don't have a second round draft pick. If you go first round, are you trading up for Jaden Daniels, or are you going down the board maybe for a Bo Nix or Michael Penix, someone like that? That's the next question for me. But I think you have to go with the rookie quarterback. No more of these bridge quarterbacks. Again, we talk about with head coaching consistency. You got to have a quarterback as well. This is another. It's kind of like a thing. It's just where each and every year we're talking about a head coach or a quarterback that where you are, and there's no consistency. When franchises are winning, they have that consistency at quarterback and head coach. Mm-hmm. 2 of the biggest, positions in the NFL. You have to have that stability there. Broncos haven't had that. They haven't had it since Peyton Manning was here. So it's just like you have to go. I think you have to go rookie quarterback. But again, Sean Payton said he wants to win now. I don't see no win now. Upgrades from realistic upgrades from Russell Wilson. I don't see it unless you're getting a rookie quarterback and then he's coming in day one and he fits that system. But to me, I think it's Winston and a rookie quarterback. Just kind of hold the whole 9 yards.
All right. So we're kind of doing like a BC mixture a little bit there. Who's starting though between those two? If Winston's coming in, do you see any of your rookies starting in front of Winston then real quick, and then I'll go over to Albert?
Well, it depends on which quarterback you go with in the draft.
That's what I'm saying, man. Is there any rookie quarterbacks that you could truly see us getting, that would outpace Winston and outplay him and get the field day one, next year?
Yeah, I think you can get. I think Michael Penix makes a really solid case, and Bo Nix, because those guys are older quarterbacks. They've been around a while, and I think in particular Michael Penix. I seen a scouting report today that's just he's great on line of scrimmage. He's just smart all around. He's got that football IQ. He makes those deep throws. He knows what to do with the football. I know he's a lefty, so a lot of people are against that, but to me, that sounds like a Sean Payton guy you could bring in here right away. He's a pocket passing quarterback as well. So to me, I mean, I think you can absolutely. You can. I don't think you can handicap yourself. Jameis Winston's the guy right away. because Jameis Winston, he's prone to turn the football over. So that's why I say you bring these guys into camp, you let them battle it out. Whoever wins the battle is the starting guy. And if your quarterback is a Penix or a Nix, those guys are older. If it was McCarthy, he's younger, he's 21. So you have more flexibility where, okay, I can set McCarthy a year. My problem is this roster's got so many holes that I don't want to go with McCarthy because he's a guy that you can develop. I mean, you can sit behind your starting quarterback, but again, you didn't fill a hole in the draft. When there's plenty of holes on this roster, it's not just quarterback. That's one of my biggest that's why I'm against kind of getting rid of Russell Wilson, because I think he's an above average quarterback to an average quarterback. And that's another hole that you're going to have to fill on top of the holes that this roster already has. So we'll see.
Thanks for that quick answer, Trevor. Albert, where do the Broncos go from here at quarterback? We have A, Stidham, B, rookie QB, C, a veteran bridge QB, or D, Russell Wilson. What are your thoughts, bud?
I have option E.
Oh, none of the above. I love it. I gave you that one.
Yep, you did. And because we have a rookie, not a rookie, veteran, not a veteran on the roster, Ben DiNucci. He has not been learning the system from Sean Payton for a year. He's been practicing it. And so he could be the starting quarterback next year. And then behind him will be a rookie quarterback that we draft. But Ben DiNucci, he can make pretty much any throw that Russell Wilson can do. And because he has a very strong arm and he is intelligent. He was the number 2 quarterback in the XFL or whatever the other league.
Yep, XFL, yep.
And that's where Sean Payton got him from. And I think Ben DiNucci could be that one bridge QB, which is also a rookie QB because he has not played a single game in the NFL yet. But
he played with the Dallas Cowboys.
He did?
Yeah. He went from the Dallas Cowboys to the XFL. But
okay, then he has some experience. But to me, he is a rookie because he doesn't have that much experience, and not a rookie because he does not have that much experience.
I just don't know that for you, Keith. I just want to jump in real quick. I just want to say I just don't know that if you're Sean Payton, is that something you can sell to the fan base? Oh, we got rid of Russ Wilson for our third string quarterback, Ben DiNucci. I mean, I just don't know if you can sell your fan base on that. Plus, DiNucci, I mean, again, if Sean Payton said he really wants to win, can you put DiNucci under center? And how much confidence do you have in him? Because Russell Wilson's quarterback too, and he might be off the roster next year. But Ben DiNucci's not even quarterback too. So how much confidence does Sean Payton have in him?
I want to stop you right there. If you don't want to have Russell Wilson playing because of the injury clause, are you going to dress him up on Sunday as a second quarterback?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, that's what that. I don't agree with it, but I'm saying it sounds like the answer is yes. Sean Payton's not going to change his mind from what he's been talking about with his press conferences. So I don't agree with it though.
I loved when he actually, to bring a little levity to the situation, when he was asked, is there any way that Russ doesn't end up being the number 2, he ends up being the number 3, and he goes, "Do you guys think I want another one of these press conferences with you?"
Yeah.
This isn't fun how it is. I don't think I don't think anybody wants another one of those. So it sounds like Russ is A, practicing, B, he's going to be the backup. But let's face it, the likelihood that, for me, that your starter goes down and then your backup gets hurt within a game, we talk about, making sure, looking at those charts to go for it on 4th down, and the probabilities that you lose your top 2 quarterbacks. And if you're that much worried about it, send out some receiver, send out Marvin Mims. I don't know. Yeah, right. Sis is coming in here and says, Russ rides off into the sunset. Giants be crazy to touch him. Oh, by the way, I didn't answer. For me, I think that Stidham is actually absolutely in a trial. I think that you don't go out and pay him $10 million over 2 years if you don't have some type of thought of faith in him. That's a ton of money for a backup QB. So I think there's something that Sean Payton needs to look at. Now, 2 weeks he probably would have wanted more from what it sounds like. They said he could have benched him at any time, but hey, here we are. We're at 2 weeks. Now he's got 2 weeks. Heck, if he had 4 weeks, maybe he could have looked at both Stidham and Ben DiNucci, Albert. Who knows? Because I'll be honest, for a guy that was down at training camp, there were days that I was much more a Ben DiNucci fan than I was a Jarrett Stidham fan. So, that being said, I did go back and do exactly what Sean Payton said. Go back, look at Jarrett Stidham versus the 49ers as he played for the Las Vegas Raiders and watch that tape. And you will see some differences in how that offense and what he's capable of and what his arm looks like in comparison. And I think there can be some things to be said about Jarrett Stidham. Now, that being said, I'm right there, and I'm going to use our good friend Trevor as my knowledge book right now. I you could tell I was already prodding him earlier. I want a rookie quarterback to come in here. I want a rookie quarterback to come in here and start developing. I don't know if Jarrett Stidham's that guy. At one point, he was going to be the next Jimmy G, but he hasn't got a whole lot of opportunity though either. So let's give him an opportunity. Let's see what happens. I know that Kurt is probably exploding right now someplace in the comments, but that being said, hey, we're in the situation that we're in. There was part of me that was seriously wondering whether we should just take all the cap hit all next year. I don't know how long you have Sean Payton. I would like to see this work. I don't want to be cap hurt, always cap hurt. And right now with Russell Wilson's contract and the way things are looking, it looks like we're going to be cap hurt. Next year or this year, maybe not so bad. 35-ish million. The year after that, like 50 million. 50 million is a lot to try to just make up and be a championship team. Would it be better just to take like $80 million right on the chin, keep your best PS2 and sell off a lot of your other pieces and parts and just scrap it and start over and have all your draft picks and start wheeling and dealing and printing it all together from there? I don't know. It's a bad place to be. But in the end, to answer your question, Kenny, I'm a Stidham guy, but I got to get a rookie in here. I got to get in here. I got to get in these comments, guys, and I appreciate you guys hanging out. So, Facebook user coming in, and this is a great reminder. I said this as well. He's saying, since the Giants could get Russell Wilson for the minimum, what's crazy about that? And that's absolutely right. Veteran minimum is the only thing that Russell Wilson would need to sign for if we cut him. Of course, he'd be getting paid $80 million from the Broncos for the next couple of years, but he could just go ahead and sign a $5 million vet minimum type of deal. So Pearl is asking, and like I said, I'll want to do some research, say, where is the diamond in the rough QB? Yeah, we were talking about that before. We need another Peyton Manning. We need another Drew Brees. That would be fantastic. So I'm having some internet issues, guys, so hang with me if I'm if I'm a little bit choppy here, guys. But Pearl's coming in here and saying, I really admire Russ. And yeah, I admire Russ too. Really thinking about if this has been hanging over by all reports over him since the win in Kansas City, thinking that he could be benched at any moment, that he's going out there, he's practicing as hard as he can, playing as hard as he can, going out there, not ever letting that crack through, not ever letting frustrations boil over, not ever seeing one glimpse of it. If anything, he was just Mr. Positive, going out there, my teammates doing the best we can, winning games, stacking wins, trying to stack victories, gonna go get it, and never let it crack. So yeah, I have a lot of admiration for him as well. So and Roger's saying this is going to be a nasty divorce, and that is very true as well, guys. Holy cow, you guys are like blowing up my comment board. I'll try to get caught up on this, guys. But let's go ahead and let's kind of start. I want to dive just a little bit deeper into this because we talked about this a little bit. Dirty hands, both sides, before we got on the show. That's what we all kind of agreed with. let's talk about the dirty hands, though, man. We're talking about ugly divorce. We're talking about, how ugly this looks in the media right now, how it's not nice being a Broncos fan, having to kind of live through this. But I want to talk about the dirty hands a little bit. So, Albert, I'm going to start with you, man. And I'm going to make you talk about, I think, your more difficult part. And I'll give Trevor the other part. Where does Russell Wilson have some dirty hands in this? Because this doesn't all just fall apart because of one side, and I think we all agreed on that. What is your thoughts on it? I can add more. I don't want you to say anything that you think is mine.
So what I have read about a little bit, when they were talking about the injury clause and getting it moved to a different date,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like that Russ was not even part in the conversations. It was
Correct.
all his and manager. And I think that's where the dirt starts. Russell should have been there by him, not by himself, with his manager, with those conversations.
Mm.
But the manager was the one who's doing all the talking, and the manager can say easily no, because guess what? Now the manager does not get paid either.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is just the dirty dirt is all about the money. And if Russ would have been in those conversations, he might have been lenient and say, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's move it to 2025." But he wasn't there, so the manager was doing all the talking, and I think that's where the biggest part of the dirt for me for Russell Wilson. If you
Okay.
go to a court case or of anything like that, you don't want to have to be just your lawyer doing the talking. You want to be there present, because if there's something you don't like, then you can say something.
Well, not only that, I think about this, there's always that, hey, should you represent yourself? Should you be your own agent? And sometimes these bigger guys are their own agents. Lamar Jackson is a great indicator of a guy that's his own agent, went out there and got his contract with the Ravens last year. That being said, when you're sitting across the table, you got to be able to take what they're saying about you, like they
Mm-hmm.
said, which is the toughest thing. Well, I think Russell Wilson might be the best prepared to hear the honest truth about himself. And you know what? At that point, like you're saying, it's not about how the agent is getting paid. It's about the interaction between player and team. And, I think you have something there, Albert. I think you have something great there. Russell Wilson sitting in with those discussions, not just being an agent and the team themselves and trying to go negotiating that way. Would it have been different? Would this have looked different? Would it have not been this, suit and tie deal that's going on while Sean Payton and Russell Wilson are out on the green grass painted with white stripes? It's two different worlds, and it's tough to live in both. And it would have been nice if they kind of blended so that all could have came to an agreement. I like that, man. Trevor, I'm going to go over to you, man. We talked a little bit about maybe the Russell side of things. I'm going to throw to you the Sean Payton side of things, man. Where does Sean Payton have some dirty hands in all this?
Yeah, I think to start off with Sean Payton, I think it's more or less he has him as quarterback too, and he has him still in the building. Again, you need to not be in the middle of are you completely moved on from Russell Wilson or are you not? I don't think Sean Payton, because football sense, I don't think he is. I don't think he's 100%. Oh, I got to get rid of Russell Wilson. Like, yeah, he's trying to Stidham because he wants to see a different quarterback in his system. He has the right to evaluate, because here's the thing. Sean Payton has to decide what's the problem with this team. Is it a quarterback? Is it not? You have to decide this before going into the offseason. So for me, it's just the whole middle ground of, are you done with Russ or are you not? If you're 100% done with Russ, there's no need for him to be in the building right now. Nothing against Russell Wilson, but you need to save him from the media being in his face. Oh, let's talk about it, Russ. Like, he shouldn't have to explain it. And also all the media attention around Russell Wilson and the Broncos and Sean Payton, that conflict. You don't think the other players are going to be affected by this? I mean, come on now. You were playing a game. Sean Payton says, I want to win. I want to get that 8th win. Okay, well, this is not a great start this week because you have so much media attention on the Russell Wilson, Sean Payton kind of back and forth that's taken away from the game, in my opinion. I mean, you wanting to win. If you're wanting to win, why is Russell Wilson in the building? You want to get rid of him 100%, then send him off. Send him off and promote Danucci as your backup quarterback. Why are you trying to play with fire with his injury clause? If he gets hurt, he's practicing. If he gets hurt in practice, that clause it comes into effect immediately. Why are you even playing with fire there? If you're not wanting Russell Wilson going forward, like there's no reason. That's why I'm saying I don't think he's 100%. I'm off Russell Wilson. So I mean, to me, it's just playing the middle ground. I don't like the middle ground.
I think there might be a reason, and there's a financial reason again, and something maybe in the clause. If Russ does not has to dress up, that might be a breach of contract. It might be something like that too. We don't know yet. We have not seen all the details, but that could be it too.
Yeah, there might be some incentive bonuses and stuff like that. Usually it's not a full breach or anything like that if he doesn't suit up all 60. I think that honestly that probably would have been way out by now. You know what I mean? Someone would have found that in the paperwork. So, you know, if anything, it's minimal details. But I like what you're saying, man. There's going back to the ugliness of it, right? And the way that it looks and the way that it's going down but I'll tell you what, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents, and then I got to get into this message board. But I appreciate you guys so much. You guys are amazing tonight. Have fantastic reactions coming through the chat board. So appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go quick. Russell Wilson has not had the best 3 years. I'm going to start off with his last year in Seattle. There was reason that Seattle wanted to move on. There was reasons that there was thoughts there. There was even got injured in that last season, if you remember correctly. Had an injury on his hand, and people were worried about that. And so that, you know, his last year in Seattle, not fantastic. Don't want to say anything, but when Russell Wilson came to the Denver Broncos, it was let's ride. It was Subway commercials. It was grand openings at the mall with his wife. It was Russell being asked if he's a little overweight. I don't know how prepared Russell Wilson was ready year one. And yes, there's the Nathaniel Hackett, and certainly the expectations from Nathaniel Hackett probably didn't help you in any of that either. And Russell Wilson had a bad year. Now he comes back in, and I want to point this out. He wants to be coached hard by Sean Payton, right? That was one of the first things we heard. He reaches out to Drew Brees so he can learn this offense. So got a way head start on this offense as well. He became good friends with Drew Brees, with the reports. You know, comes in, he's fit and he's ready, and we're sitting here with a losing record, if I remember correctly. And I know that can't be 100% on his laid at his feet, but it also doesn't make him MVP candidate either. So Russell Wilson has some dirt on his hands, in my opinion. Now, Sean Payton came into this job knowing what everyone's contract was, what he thought he was capable of doing, where we'd be at if we had to move on, when everyone's contract was due, what he'd have to work with. And I can't think of, honestly, this situation going much worse between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. You know, you're yelling at each other on the sidelines, screaming at him. You know, you're, from all intents and purposes, it doesn't sound like the relationship within the locker room is great with Russ and with Sean, if you hear any of the internal reports. And I don't think that's because Russell Wilson's not a cool, approachable guy. You know, that's not why it's coming about. I don't think Sean Payton is necessarily gave him the warm shoulder that he gave Drew Brees in order to try to make this work as best as humanly possible. There might have been some pre-decisions made in his mind when he walked into this, even though all these contracts were in here, and that's kind of a shame on you, dirt on your hands for Sean Payton. So now we're going to be kind of stuck within this. I'm still, and going back really quick to Trevor, and then I'll hit these comments, I promise. I still think possible, maybe not probable, Russell Wilson is back. If you go out there, you go out there and you don't see what you like from Stidham, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any other great options that are going to be coming in here, as we've said time and time again with Russell Wilson. There's nothing saying that you can't go back to Russell Wilson and saying, hey, man, our bad, man. We got to ride this. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Let's make this work. Now, it's very unlikely, but it would be a fantastic situation. If that was going to happen, you don't kick him outside the building. You don't make it so he doesn't practice. You don't make it so he's no longer the number 2 and not part of the team the last couple of games. You want him there. You want him a piece in part of the action. You're not just ostracizing him. So that's another reason maybe why that's happening. Plus, like I said, the probability that you lose QB1 and then your QB2, who's been practicing and playing since October, knowing that he could be benched, and heck, at any time of then he could be getting injured and still not getting his medical clearance before the league year. So I know it's getting closer towards the end, and it'll make it a little more iffy. But man, we've rolled the dice for how many weeks now, and everyone wants him to keep playing too. It would be, most people would just see Russell Wilson out there playing, and then he could obviously get injured. So what's the point, I guess? So
and that's the thing, Keith. That's the thing that I'm worried about, though. I don't know if their relationship is salvageable now. I mean, after all of this is going on, you can't tell me, because Sean Payton mentioned this in his press conference today, you can't tell me Sean Payton didn't have any say-so of what was going on with Russ's contract. And he was not in discussions at all, because he said, oh, I don't take care of the contract parts of things, but I take care of the field. Doesn't that impact if you're going to bench Russell Wilson, that impacts what you're going to do on the field. So that's right there. It answers your question. Sean Payton absolutely has something to do with this. No doubt about it. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Why is he got to say that to the media? And then you have Russ today speaking to the media and saying, yeah, they came out and they told me, yeah, I needed to push my injury option back. So that's the thing, is they're taking shots at the media now at each other. So it's not even inside the building, it's at each other. So I don't think that relationship is salvageable anymore. Once you do that, it's really hard to come back from that, in my opinion.
Just really quick, and then maybe Albert, if you have 2 cents on this, I'll let you jump in. But the funny thing, when I watched that interview with Russell Wilson, right, I was thinking in my mind, this is the most real I think I've heard Russell Wilson talk. It wasn't where he, like, sometimes he gets out there, he's like, good game, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, my teammates and stacking wins and super positive and Quinn Miners and Ben Powers, and just starts listing off people left, right, and otherwise. There was meaning in the words that he was saying. There was emotion in his face that was real. That was the most real I think I'd ever seen Russell Wilson, is when he was talking about that. Much respect, like has already been said about that. Albert, did you have anything? And then let me get caught up on these comments after that.
Yeah, the big thing is the entire team is suffering through it. And I think the O-line, it could have been one of the top 5 O-lines that we have. We have seen it that they could be in the last couple of games. They were not. And I think the entire team is suffering because of what is going on there. And we didn't see it coming. We didn't know. But this was already going on for a couple of weeks, maybe months. And the entire team is suffering from it. We have seen the change. Our defense is worse. Our offense is worse. So, I think this is already going on. And it's the environment, I think, right now is very poisonous.
Yeah.
Well,
last thing I need to hear, Albert, man, we need to turn the page on this. We need to start looking up as Broncos country. That's what we're going to start doing now. I did want to get back to Kenny. He said he was just getting back to our quarterback question. I know that was a little while ago, Kenny. He says, for me, it's that day one rookie. Just simplify the system a little bit for that rookie QB. Listening to our good friend Trevor and maybe some options there. It might be might be a solution that we might have available or might just need to take. Michael Ronquillo, along those same lines of saying Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy was his choices. Ernie Mays just reminding us season ain't over yet. Believe it or not, guys, we'd still have a chance to be in the playoffs. Heck, I think we even still have a chance to win the division, if I remember correctly. So always that outside chance. And if that's the case, then like Peter Loria is coming in here. Thank you, Peter. I can't remember if we've seen you in here before. It's been a while if we have. But that being said, he's coming in on YouTube saying, I'm so excited for Jarrett Stidham. Go Broncos. Big orange and blue hearts, and saying, in Sean Payton we trust. So, man, Peter, I thought I might be the only guy out here that wasn't necessarily all on Russ's side. I felt like I was maybe the lone guy out here with all the Russell done bad, dirty deeds on Russell and the whole 9 yards. The media's been, as much as I say, we want to move on and be positive, boy, they've been eating up the negative and jumped all over this. So I'm excited for Jarrett Stidham too. I like I said, I went back, I watched the tape. I'm excited to see just a different arm. I think he brings, again, different vision. They're not expecting, from what I heard from offensive coordinator, they're not expecting a big change as far as the game plan. At least that's what they're saying. But like he says, every quarterback sees things different. So excited to see what's going to happen there. Kenny says, these guys cost money now with Russ. This is dead money and a veteran bridge. You're looking at more than $60 million for a bridge, guys. And he just can't go that route. Yeah, that's the hole we're digging, man. And that's the reason Trevor said, and I mentioned as well, I would have loved to just kind of ride it out with Russ with the contract that we were in. It was honestly probably the best option, even if he's not playing top level. I always thought that contract would start leveling down again as newer quarterbacks come in, start earning bigger and bigger money, and Joe Burrows gets paid and the Herberts get paid and all this other stuff. And we keep seeing this all ratchet up. Next thing you know, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence and Tua and Jalen Hurts, and keeps going up. It would average out his contract over time and not be so bad. And hopefully you're getting performance on the field for what you're paying for. I really hate paying $80 million to go and see him quarterback the Raiders, which is a possibility. So, but here nor there now at this point, I think we're already down that pack. Michael Ronquillo's coming in with a question saying, who in the NFL, who is the NFL pro-ready quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft? I'm going to need a lot of research, bud. A lot of research. I've been so locked into the Broncos. I don't even know if we're going to approach that, but I promise you, man, guess what? It looks like postseason or the offseason might be right around the corner for the Broncos. We'll be diving deep into it. So wait for that as well. Roger's coming in here and saying Russell Wilson is now the highest paid backup quarterback in the league. Well, yes, this week he will be. I 100%. Keep in mind, though, Russell Wilson isn't getting paid that much this year. It's next year that he starts actually getting paid the big money. So not that big. Again, just hitting back, Russell Wilson was emotional when talking about being benched. I'm going to end up scrolling to the bottom, guys, so that I can catch up, because I do want to start talking about this game. It does have some meaning. It could be the playoffs. It is Stidham's start. I want to go ahead and I'll start with Albert. I know that we're already up against the clock and we got only a few minutes, but let's start talking about this game and then we'll get out of here in a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be Stick is going to be probably be a stick in the mud, because he could make it complicated. If the Broncos lose one game, we are out of the playoffs. That's for sure. The only way we can go into playoffs is win both games, and the Chiefs losing both games. That's, I think, the only way we can get in the playoffs. Yeah, do I see us getting there? I hope we will have a win over the Chargers, but it's going to be a close one. I would say 24-21, something like that.
Very good, man. The Chargers maybe having a little bit of gumption with a new coach, different coach than what we saw last time. So that being said, different coach. Easton Stick has gotten a little bit of experience now. They always play us hard. 24-21. That's certainly a possibility as well. Who knows? It's everything's going to be up in the air on this one. I haven't even thought about a score prediction. I was just even thinking about breaking down this game. Young Tyrone's coming in here and saying start McLaughlin. That's his thought. And Michael Ronquillo has just been pointing out as well that the Broncos running game has been fairly non-existent. So Trevor, I'm reading the screen. Trevor, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those games where both teams are kind of like there's kind of no man's land right now because I mean, for Denver, you have Baron Brown and Greg Dulcich, and then you have Cortland Sutton that's out, and then for the Chargers, you have Bosa, Keenan Allen, obviously Herbert, Joshua Palmer's out, so it's like you have so many different players out in this game, and it's like, man, I mean, it's just the game of the backups right now. It kind of feels like that. But with Jarrett Stidham, I think Sean Payton has to open up the playbook. That you have nothing to lose. I mean, you just pulled your starting quarterback. Let's be honest, playoffs are probably not in the Broncos' near future. I know that they have a small chance, but you don't make this type of change and just like expect the playoffs. I think you're looking forward to the future more than anything. Starting your backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham. So I expect Sean Payton to open up the playbook. Do everything that you run your system. Let's see your offense because Sean Payton and Jarrett Stidham to me are on trial runs right now. Now the clock starts with Sean Payton. He has his guy. Again, Jarrett Stidham was like day one. Sean Payton signed him. So this is on Sean Payton now. This is his guy. Let's see what his offense looks like because I mean, no more blaming Russell Wilson. You can't blame Russell Wilson anymore. It's now Sean Payton. This offense goes wrong. It's on Sean Payton, not on Russell Wilson. And so it's not just a trial for Jarrett Stidham. It's a trial for Sean Payton. Let's see what his offense is gonna look like going into next season.
Yeah. And the only thing I would say, man, once again, Jarrett Stidham doesn't have that much, in the back pocket as of yet, as far as experience is concerned. I do want us to have a little bit of patience, but I want us to evaluate, especially if they're speaking the truth, if this offense isn't going to be that different, and we get to see two quarterbacks playing almost the same system, and it looks different and it feels different, how and why? And is that something that we want to move forward with? It might take a little bit of time, though. It might be that second game. It might be week 18, before we really start seeing it click around. But the Chargers and all the banged upness that they have and the backups that you're talking about is not a bad place to see if this is possible. So a few of the comments. We got Kenny. I just skipped off that one. Roger, I forgot to read it. Says, I think Stidham will have 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Let's see what he can do. Roger's a big fan, man. There's a few of us out there, I guess. I'm not a big fan. I shouldn't say that, but I do want to see what this guy can do. Like I said, guys, please go back, watch Jarrett Stidham as a Las Vegas Raider versus the 49ers. I think it was like week 17 or week 18 of last year. And man, it has a live arm. I'm excited to see what's possible on Sunday. Ernie Mays coming in saying Broncos 20, Chargers 10. Young Tyrone, I love this as well. We didn't get to hit the whole practice report, but Nick Bonito was full practice on Wednesday. Looks like Nick Bonito is ready to go from what it sounds like. Unfortunately, Baron Browning looks like he will not be going on the other side. So it'll be a Cooper, Nick Bonito with maybe some Sanders mixed into that rotation as well. So watch out for Sanders being a third guy in that rotation as well. Guys, I know that we have even questions coming in from Kenny. You know what, Kenny? You're such a good guy. I can't do it. Kenny says, offensive MVP with no Sutton. He says, mine is the O-line. They've stepped up this week against a strong pass rush. All right, man. Who's going to be the offensive MVP this week? I'm going to go with Albert.
77. 77. Quinn minus. What he is doing in the offensive line, it's amazing. He should be in the Pro Bowl or All Pro, whatever you want to call it, because I think he's one of the best guards there is in there, and the energy that he brings and the bulliness. Yeah, to me it will be Quinn minus.
Quinn Miners. All right. Your thoughts, Mr. Salzman?
I think I'm going to go on a limb, and I know Broncos country. He hasn't been the biggest, exactly. We haven't been the biggest supporter of this guy because I think he's been a little bit disappointing. But give me Jerry Jeudy. I think that this changes the game for Jerry Jeudy because just his ability to get over the middle of the field. You have a different style quarterback. I think Jerry Jeudy is a guy that I could see have a big game.
Yeah. Well, Kenny jumps in. He says, "I think you'll see similar numbers, not much better or worse. What I want to see as an adopted Bronco fan, of course, Kenny being the stepfather, is Jerry Jeudy's performance with a different QB. So right up that alley, man. You nailed it. I don't know if you guys have any information on this. PS2 is playing. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
This is one of the guys that came to my mind, but I think I'm going to go a little bit different route. Roger's saying Brandon Johnson will have a big game. Michael Ronquillo is going with a Jerry Jeudy as well. You know, if Marvin Mims doesn't get out there and Cortland Sutton is down, I'm going to look for Jordan Humphreys. I'm going to look for little Jordan Humphreys. He's the type of guy, especially in a Sean Payton system, the type of body, the way that he can go over the middle, long arms. I'm excited to see what maybe a Jordan Humphreys could do in this game. But Pearl's no on Jerry Jeudy. So I appreciate you, Pearl. You're consistent on that.
Yeah.
Pearl, would you be okay if we traded Jerry Jeudy this offseason? Just asking. You can drop it in the comments. Guys, I appreciate. Oh, by the way, Kenny's saying Mike McGlinchey if I'm picking. Wow, nice. That would be fantastic. You know, it's funny. It's funny. Pearl, thank you. Yes, she's willing to trade Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if we'll get this running game going this season now with the way that Javante's kind of starting to tail off. I would love, as young Tyrone said, let's see some more Jaleel McLaughlin. Let him fail a little bit. I know that he's not the best blocker in the world, but I think what you can maybe gain on the other side of it might be the most opportunistic thing that you have in the running back room right now. Perine's solid. Perine is solid. If you just want consistency, you can go down the Perine track. So not bad as well. But Mike McGlinchey would be huge to have going, especially if we got that running game going. He says it. Michael says it has to be wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, no matter what. Well, guys, score prediction. I guess we got one score prediction, didn't we?
Yeah,
Albert's, but I didn't get Trevor's. I didn't get mine, and then we better get out of here, guys. It's been a long night. Thank you.
Go ahead, Albert.
You want me? I'll repeat mine one more time.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
24-21, and I think we might see a big game for Kroll.
Oh, I like that. Lucas Kroll, tight end, man. He's been coming on, man. Good call out. Trevor, give you that score prediction. You can. Well, we already talked about your big guy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, honestly. I'm going to go 17-10 Broncos.
17-10 Broncos. I want to go the opposite, man. Now, I'm hoping Jarrett Stidham goes out there, kind of Drew Locks it, suits up, gets ready to go, and does his thing. And you know what? I'm going to say we're going to be a 32-10 victor.
Ooh.
I want big points. I'm going to be up there with those 3 touchdowns and the 300 yards. You know what? The San Diego Chargers team ain't that great, guys. Ain't that great. Just go back and look at that, that New England San Diego Chargers game, man. I think we can hang up some points on this team. And I know that if nothing else, Coach should be jacked up and ready to go, man. He better be. He's been getting called out enough. So Jeremy's not that far off. He's got in 28-10 Broncos. I love it, Jeremy. Let's go. Michael Ronquillo coming in saying pick 6 from PS2. That would be nice, man. We haven't had a whole lot of points from the defense. We've seen a lot of turnovers, not necessarily points directly off of it. So that would be kind of cool. Another opportunity for me to get up to that 32 points I'm looking to get to as well. I appreciate it. So Pearl saying, hopefully just win. Man, if we win and everything falls in our favor and we're going into next week with the potential for playoffs, it would be just amazing. And maybe that spins us out of all this negative talk, Broncos country, and into something that we can maybe be a little bit more excited about at least. Roger's coming in and saying 30 burger to put some great willow spices on it. Yes, we'll get to that as we're getting out of here as well. Young Tyrone's coming in here and saying 27-16. I imagine that's only in favor of the Broncos. Appreciate it, young Tyrone. I got getting called out by Ernie Mays. Yep. Got to get my dollar jar for the Los Angeles Chargers. No,
how many
longer
dollars
the
you
San
have in
Diego
there
Chargers.
now? Like, what, are you able to go to Subway and get a footlong now with that? All that money?
Oh boy, I'll get my Danger Witch. All right. I appreciate it. No actual endorsement, guys. Hey, this is what we need to do. We need to get our onion rings. That's right, Pearl. Get your onion rings going. They got our winning streak going, if I remember correctly. So, Pearl, thank you very much. Fantastic supporter. I know that we have a ton, and I know that Albert's usually pretty good at this. Albert, did you take care of us this evening? Because it's about time for some final goodbyes. I'm going to start with you. How's that?
Okay. Yeah, it was wonderful talking to you all again about the Broncos and the complications that we are facing. But in the end, as long as we have a really good game and we can enjoy a game and we can talk Broncos, that makes our lives much better. And so, I want to thank all of you that were in the chat today. Pearl, Ernie, my lovely wife Michelle, Clayton, Kenny, Jeremy, Michael, Jen, Eddie, Kurt, Roger, Martin, and Peter is for me the first time that I have seen him in the chat. And John Tyrone, thank you all for being in the chat. It makes our lives so much more interesting and easier. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Albert, man. Thank you, all the people that he mentioned. I'll say a little bit more about that later and get a couple of plugs in if you guys don't mind hanging around. I really appreciate it. But first, got to go over to the Rocket Man. I haven't even said that this night. Trevor, how's it going, man? Let's get us out of here with some thoughts.
Yeah, so again, guys, thank you all again for being here again and sticking with us. I know we didn't have our show Tuesday because Keith was hurt, was sick, but it's okay. We're back, and we're ready to go. We're ready to see this Bronco team win, and again, just end the season on a positive note, even if we don't get playoffs. Again, it's all about trying to be as positive as much as possible. I know this week it's been tough. We've got a lot of news, a lot of different rumors are swirling around, but again, just stay positive, trust the process. Like I said, I know sometimes it's hard to do that with Sean Payton. Sometimes it can be a headache, but again, just trust the process. We have, I think, what it takes to get there. We have ownership, a great ownership group is in place, and they want to win. Everything from what they've shown me, they want to win. So I think they will take care of this team. We'll get our answers on Sunday of what this team is going to be looking like going forward and what a Sean Payton offense will look like. I hope I'm wrong about my score prediction because I actually want to see an offensive game. I want to see this offense break out. So I actually hope I'm wrong about my score prediction. But yeah, it's just I didn't just stay patient and let's continue to be positive. And then all this offseason talk, wow, plenty of time to talk about that in the offseason. And again, just he shout out to Russell Wilson again for speaking to the media because that really shows a lot to who Russell Wilson is as a person. He really wants to win. Regardless of what he does here in Denver, I want to see him go off and in the sense that, like I think someone mentioned, I think it was Ernie mentioned, off to the sunset and go play with another team if it's not here in Denver and win. Because that guy, he wants to win, and it took a lot of poise. Again, he doesn't have to speak to the media. He doesn't have to. Being a backup quarterback, he doesn't have to speak like to the media like that. And he does, and he did. He took time out of his day to do it and give us answers. And that's just really appreciative, and just props to him because he's a great guy and deserves the best. Just like all Broncos country deserves the best. We're in this together, and go Broncos.
Yeah, I love it, buddy. Love it. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. And believe me, guys, media will get you all riled up, man. A little bit of news like this breaks. I do like a guy I listen to, I respect a ton over at Mile High Huddle. I'll drop a name real quick. His name is Scott Kennedy. He always reminds me, Sean Payton is a little bit of an a-hole, but he's your a-hole. All right. And there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about that. Go ahead, embrace him. It's tough sometimes. It's a process, but I really think you bring a coach in like this much tenure, this much clout. You need to give him a little bit of time. You need to give him his guys and see what's possible. Hopefully it's fantastic things, and hopefully it starts off this Sunday as well. So, yeah, I love Scott Kennedy sports as well. So, I just wanted to hit a few comments because a few jumped in before I wanted to get out of here. Jeremy, and I'm having terrible internet, saying thank you guys, go Broncos, and have a happy new year. I appreciate it, Jeremy. Thank you very much, and happy new year to you. I believe this is probably Adam coming in here and saying family, y'all rock. You guys rock. Appreciate you guys a ton. And Michael Ronquillo saying just win. And of course, Pearl coming in here and saying happy new year, everyone. Michael coming in. I'll hit these really quick. Put the money onto the Broncos for a new field. New facilities coming in 2026 NFL season. That will be fantastic. And a big happy new year as well. Gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen, everybody out there, I thank you so much. I feel like my head's still spinning, still getting over this cold a little bit. Hopefully it was a fantastic show. There was so much to unpack, guys. I know that there's a lot of trauma and drama out there. Stay close. My sign off is never more true than in times like this. And maybe it's just the perfect time to get there. Guys, before we do, though, really quickly, we are brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Rocky Mountain Sports Network will bring you all your Colorado sports. So, again, search out Rocky Mountain Sports Network, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or X. You can check us out on on Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well. RockyMountainSN.com is the website where you can drop right in and get caught up on all your Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, and Rockies. That being said, guys, Willow Seasonings and Blends is our fantastic sponsor. WillowSeasonings.com is their fantastic website. Guys, there's only a couple days left. DBR 2023 is the promo code. It saves you 15% off. Willow Seasonings, guys, really quick, born right out of Colorado, out of the love of great flavor and great sauces and seasonings are being made there. So check them out, willowseasonings.com, Colorado-owned, veteran-owned. They love the Broncos. They're all up and down the Front Range. They ship all over the continental United States, guys. WillowSeasonings.com is the place. DBR 2023 is the promo code. Save yourself 15%. He donates $1 to a family in need. It's all good all the way around. Really quick, guys. Michael, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, man. I think this is one of the best comments I could get out of everything that's been said. You guys are the best friends I can ask for. Michael, thank you, man. Thank you. Nothing bigger than that, man. You're my friend as well, buddy. Reach out anytime, and there's nothing more than I can ask than for something like that. Thank you, buddy. Kenny's coming in here and saying, my New Year's resolution, maybe I can make a trip out to Denver for training camp and hang out with Keith and all of you next year. Well, that would be wild, Kenny. That would be wild. I've only made it the last few years, and for you to make it out there and meet me up, that would be wild. That'd be cool, Kenny. Michael Ronquillo saying Denver Broncos for life from Tucson, Arizona. Thank you, buddy, very much. Yeah, and Kenny saying towards you, Michael, all the way from the East Coast as well. Guys, again, Great love, great respect for every single one of you. Thank you for being part of our show, guys. Like I said, a great way of getting out of here every single time, but especially in times like this with all this drama and turmoil. Guys, keep your feet in your stirrups, all right? Keep your feet kind of grounded, right? Don't get all crazy now. And when I say don't get crazy, I need you to keep your guns in your stirrup in your holsters. Guns in your holsters, guys. Don't keep them in your stirrups. Keep your guns in your holsters, guys, because it's easy to shoot off really, really easy and really, really quick when emotions are running high. But guys, more than anything, keep the Broncos in your heart, guys. Albert, you got something?
Yeah, about those feet. About 10 seconds before it is midnight on New Year's Eve,
Yeah.
lift up your left leg so you can get into the new year on the right foot.
Oh, there you go. There you go, guys.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
And
New
we're
Year.
going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're not used to it, our regular schedule, of course, Friday nights, like right now, it's usually our pregame show, 7 o'clock. We do a postgame right after the game, so we'll be watching for that on Sunday. And then our OG show, which, of course, tonight we've missed out with Jody the Judge Moncrief. He'll be back on that day. We're going to go ahead and everybody should be back. It's usually a full panel on Tuesday, guys, and that's our big Roundup show. So check that out. That's at 7 o'clock as well. Thank you guys so much. We're going to get out of here. Until next time, have a great night.